The piercing moonlight emanates from the canvas like a siren song, calling you closer, pulling you in as you approach this piece. The wind whips around you, the clouds envelop you, the waves engulf you. There seems to be no escape. It's too late. Personally, I'm a sucker for chiaroscuro. It's that intense contrast of darkness and light that creates drama in a work of art. It's what drew me to this piece in the first place. I loved the darkness, the drama, the fact that for a Civil War painting, it wasn't really Civil War-ish. Looking at this work, Rescue of the Crew of USS Monitor by USS Rhode Island, December 31st, 1862, by artist William Richardson Tyler, is an experience best enjoyed over a few minutes at least. You need a second to let your eyes adjust, like they do when you flip off the lights. But once they do, a dramatic scene plays out. The moonlight illuminates a ship with a red light on the center right of the canvas, USS Rhode Island. Can you see the diagonal line created by the masts showing the action in this piece? The ship is being tossed by the rough waves of a storm. But somehow there's a calm, a stillness, like this is a moment frozen in time. But what moment is the artist trying to pause? Luckily, the title gives us context. This is a scene of a rescue mission during the final moments of USS Monitor. Looking closely, just left of center, we see a tiny boat filled with figures, really just a few dabs of paint headed for the Rhode Island. But where is USS Monitor, we might ask ourselves. But then we see it. Off to the left, cloaked in darkness, the waves swallowing it. It's lost already. Some of the crew is escaping in that little boat. But the artist has done something very peculiar here. Typically, chiaroscuro is used to highlight the subject or something important in a work of art. But here, the waves are the part that's illuminated. Initially, this seems counterintuitive. The subject should be USS Rhode Island. But then we realize the subject is the act of escaping to safety. The artist has frozen this will they make it moment, like the cliffhanger at the end of your favorite show. What's gonna happen next, he has us asking. As if this painting wasn't eerie enough, we see something strange, like a shadow of the Rhode Island ever so slightly more centered on the canvas than where the same ship is now. It's called pentimento, where the artist has painted over part of the image to change the composition. We can still see the ghostly figure of the ship where the original composition was. This achieves two things that amplify the drama in this work. First, the artist has changed the narrative. He's moved that ship farther away from the lifeboat. He's made that will they, won't they moment even more intense by adding more treacherous water in between. Secondly, it creates motion in the piece, almost like a blurry photo of a moving object. The lifeboat remains frozen in time while the Rhode Island moves farther and farther away. We ask ourselves, will they ever catch it, or will it always be just beyond the grasps of those few lucky sailors so desperate for safety? Lastly, and most ominously, we see the fate of USS Monitor and part of the crew symbolized by the red emergency signal lantern on the Rhode Island. That fiery dab of red pierces through the darkness and glistens in the water. The reflection seems to sink farther and farther until the light is lost to the sea. Eyewitnesses of this fateful night say that the last thing that could be seen of USS Monitor was its red emergency signal lantern, before it too slipped below the waves to rest on the sea floor. The artist so successfully narrates this harrowing story through his techniques that even without knowing anything about this story or its tragic ending, we are caught. We are sucked in, tossed in those waves as if we're on a third ship watching this scene play out. We are set here, helpless spectators already mourning the loss of the first ironclad and the brave men who went down with the ship. desperately hoping these few survivors can make it across the dangerous moonlit waters to safety. He leaves us asking, will they make it? Will they or won't they?